I'm going to punch on with this fucking microphone.
Maybe don't.
Oh, well. We've got a spare one. It's fine. There's another one as a backup.
One breaks, we're good.
Yeah. It's the stands that I reckon will break first. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to Disorganized Detectives. That's
Very
how disorganized we are. I nearly forgot the fucking name of it. We're a little bit organized. Oh, have you watched Baby Reindeer yet?
No.
Oh.
Okay, so I was going to watch it, but Beck cheated on me and watched it with someone else. We were going to watch it together, and then she went to work and watched it with someone else. So now I'm like not wanting to watch it just for that reason. I'm being petty.
It's good, but I kept saying like the ending will make your jaw drop and shit, and it didn't. And I said to Jay, I'm like, everyone was like, oh, you've got to skip episode 4. 4 is really fucked up. And then we watched it and we're like, oh. So I don't know if we're so like desensitized to fucked up things because it was fucked up.
But it not that fucked up.
Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, I've heard worse. Like, it's a, like, I don't know. If you haven't listened to it, and do you want me to tell you like what, like the thing?
Whatever.
If you haven't watched it, like skip ahead or whatever. But he gets raped by another guy.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's all played out. But then I'm like, the guy that plays Donnie, I think his name, isn't it? Is the guy that it happened to. So I'm like, he just relived his rape
that's
for
dramatic.
Netflix. Yeah, I was like, fuck. And then, yeah, the ending, I was like, oh. Like it was very anticlimactic. Climactic? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. And then like Jay went to work. He's like, oh, the boys are talking about, I was going to say fucking Rudolph.
I mean, he was a baby reindeer.
About Baby Reindeer. And none of them had finished it. I'm like, it's 7 half-an-hour episodes. I'm like, how have you not finished that on the weekend?
Yeah.
I was like, we watched it. We started on Sunday, then Jay watched the footy, and then we finished it. Like, that's how quickly you can get through it. But yeah, I don't know why that reminded me.
Perhaps we will watch it if I stop being petty.
It is good. You knock it out in like a weekend or a day.
Yeah.
Because like what, half an hour, 2 hours, 3.5 hours?
How's that maths going?
I did VCAL, all right. Very, very, I'm not good at maths.
Mm-hmm.
Not good at reading either, as we're going to fucking real life.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, you know in the basement yard when he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's me.
Cool.
So this is how big my fucking font is.
Wow, how old are you?
I turned 28 last week, thank you.
You mean 68?
I give Jay shit because he's 30. 31 this year.
So's Beck.
Oh.
Cute.
Old motherfuckers. Anyway, today I have the case of Jerry Michael Williams for you.
Oh.
Have you heard of him?
Yes.
I was like, I'm going to try get you. Well, like
you will. Absolutely, you will.
Mine are like all the very common ones. Like that I've researched so far, while I have the brain capacity. Well, I don't have the brain capacity to like deep dive into ones that don't just have like a nice Wikipedia page. So, Jerry Michael Williams was a man whose life became entangled in a web of mystery and tragedy. Jerry led a seemingly ordinary life until an inexplicable incident altered the course of his story. So, Jerry Michael Williams, right off the bat, was mainly known. I was like,
you wrote this.
I know, but I wrote it like a month ago, so I forget what I've written. Okay, so Jerry Michael Williams was known mainly as Mike. Fuck, I'm so fucking stupid when I write these.
Did you proofread?
I do, but then I'm like, why did I write it like that? And I'm like, I totally get that because my dad's name was Christopher, but he hated his first name, so he went by Paul. So I was like, yeah, I get it. Why you go for your middle name?
Yeah, on your mic.
So Mike was born on the 16th of October, 1969 in Tallahassee, Florida. He grew up in Bradfordville, which is just north of Tallahassee. Tallahassee always reminds me of The Office.
Yeah.
Kathy Bates' character from Tallahassee. That's the only reason I know how to say Tallahassee. His father, Jerry Jerome Williams, was very hard to find his name. I had to find it up on Ancestry.com.
Wow, you did deep dive.
Well,
sort of.
A little bit further than Wikipedia. He was a Greyhound bus driver, and his mother, Cheryl, was a daycare provider who raised him and his older brother, Nick, in a double-wide trailer.
Yeah.
Instead of owning or building a house, Mike's parents saved their money so they could send both boys to North Florida Christian High School.
Wow, that's good.
Mike and his brother also worked nights at supermarkets to help out with money. In high school, Mike developed a reputation as an outstanding academic and athletic student. During his senior years, he was student council president, played football, and was in the Key Club.
The what?
It's not when you put your keys in a bowl. That's what I thought. Probably not in high school either.
What
Put your
is
locker
the
keys in a
Key
bowl.
Club.
Wow, glad you asked. Wikipedia says that they
Didn't even plan that one.
Key Club International, also called Key Club, that's fucking hard to say after a while, is an international service organization for high school students. As a student-led organization, Key Club's goal is to encourage leadership through serving others. Key Club offers a range of services to its members: leadership development, study abroad opportunities, vocational guidance, college scholarships, a subscription to the Key Club magazine, and liability insurance.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know why a high school student needs liability insurance, but Florida. At the age of 15, Mike began duck hunting as a hobby.
Oh, yeah.
After attending North Florida Christian, he attended Florida State University, where he majored in political science and urban planning. Before graduating, he was hired by Ketchman Appraisal Group as a property appraiser. According to the company's owner, Mike was the hardest working man he ever saw. In 1994, Mike married his high school girlfriend, Denise Merrill. Mike's job would keep him very busy. According to Denise, he would often come home to eat dinner and then return to work when she went to bed. On some occasions, he would go duck hunting in the mornings and then head to work for the day. That'd be a long fucking day.
Yeah.
According to his mother, Cheryl, Mike was making $200,000 US dollars annually.
That's pretty good, is it?
In 1990 something. But it would be the equivalent of $357,000 today.
That's a step up from a double wide.
Well, yeah. According to my calculations a month ago when I wrote this script, it'd be about $6,000 a week.
Shit.
That's is that right?
That's like stripper money.
Yeah. That's like OnlyFans money.
Yeah.
Podcast money.
I wish.
That'd be fucking lovely.
That's the dream.
$6,000 a week. That's like 6 times more than I make on Centrelink. In 1999, Mike and Denise's daughter was born. Mike's co-workers said that he was as devoted to her as he was to his work. The following year in 2000, his father died. Midway through 2000, Mike and Denise took out a $1 million life insurance policy on him through a childhood friend, Brian Winchester. And Mike and Brian became best friends.
Oh, it's so sweet.
That's $1 million life insurance policy.
I don't trust life insurance policies.
No, my dad had funeral insurance, but not
Well, funeral insurance is good because it's used for
funerals
the funeral.
are fucking expensive.
It's used for funeral, but
Yeah.
life insurance, that's just a target on your back.
Yeah.
Come on, kill me and get $1 million.
But even funeral insurance, you just get the money in your account.
Oh.
Yeah, you just have to, they die and you prove that they're
Well,
dead.
yeah.
And then I just had to get my ID and my dad's ID signed. And then I think I emailed it all to them. And then 2 days later, I had $10,000 in my account.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean.
But then 4 goes to just cremation.
Yeah.
No funeral. Pretty big
so
wake.
Expensive.
They're fucked. And then when my uncle died, the same chick that did dad's funeral, she gave me that rate that it was.
Oh, she gave you a discount.
Yeah, and she's mum's friend as well.
Like a 2 for 1.
Yeah. Well, both
Is
uncles
the third
died.
one going to be even more cheaper when someone else dies?
I don't know. Who's next? Probably Jay. I'll probably kill him. We'll just delete that for my funeral insurance policy.
Yeah, don't put that on the pod.
Definitely wasn't me. It was Ziggy.
Poor neglecto dog.
Poor neglector. Oh, no. He comes to this window because he knows I sit there. Okay, so he got the life insurance policy. As the year 2000 was coming to an end, Mike spoke to his mother about wanting to have at least $50,000 put aside so he could take the next year off work. He also mentioned that he and Denise were planning to have a second child soon and planning to go on a cruise to Hawaii that spring. Fancy. $50K for the year. Well, trying to live off $50K for a year when you've been earning
300 or something.
That'd be hard.
Yeah.
On Saturday, the 16th of December 2000, Mike had planned to go duck hunting at Lake Seminole. Lake Seminole is a large reserve approximately 50 miles or 80 kilometers northwest of Tallahassee, located in the southwest corner of Georgia along its border with Florida, where 3 other streams merge to form the Apalachicola River and Gulf of Mexico. The lake...
Love a water chat.
That's a lot of information. If you don't care what the lake is, you can just zone out.
Yeah, I did.
Just in case they live near it or something. Like, oh, that's the lake that I live near.
Well, if they lived near it, they probably know.
Well, yeah, they'd know the name of it. So Michael woke early, leaving the house before dawn with his boat and headed to the lake. Denise assumed he would arrive back home in the late morning, and the couple had plans to celebrate their 6th wedding anniversary that night in Apalachicola. At around noon, Denise rang her father to tell him that Mike had not returned home yet. She also called a few friends to ask if they had heard from Mike, but no one had. Denise said that she became more and more worried, especially since Mike had decided to go duck hunting alone that day. A number of people, including Brian Winchester and his father, drove out to the areas of the lake where they had knew Mike frequently went duck hunting. They found his 1994 Ford Bronco near a remote boat launch in Jackson County on the Florida side. After no one could get in contact or find Mike, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, or the FFWCC, were called. A search began but soon had to be called off after a storm blew in. The initial search investigation was handled by the FFWCC, since Mike had been reported as a missing hunter and the agency focused on a search and rescue or recovery mission. An FFWCC officer recalled...
Fuwaka.
A Fuwaka
Fuwaka.
Recalled, quote, "We didn't have a whole lot to go on, except there was an empty boat and the guy didn't show up. There was nothing there that we had from the scene that suggested foul play at all."
Apart from the missing
the
man,
guy missing?
the empty boat, the solo hunter that's just gone.
Searchers focused on the 10 acres of the lake surrounding the cove where Mike's truck was initially found. Mike's boat was soon found roughly 225 feet or 69 meters from the ramp by a helicopter pilot who initially assumed it was a boat being used in the search.
Just an empty boat.
Just an empty boat. Like, that must be used in the search.
Yeah, someone is
We're
definitely
looking for a
searching
boat.
for him in that boat. I just don't know where they are.
When searchers reached the boat, they discovered that there was no sign of Mike. They only found his shotgun sitting in the boat.
The missing man was not found in the boat.
Shocker.
Wow.
From the helicopter that saw the boat was empty.
Oh, God. No sign of him. Like, just empty boat. Wasn't hiding.
Hiding under the shotgun. The cove is locally believed to have been an orchid field before the Chattahoochee and Flint Rivers and Spring Creek were dammed.
Chattahoochee.
Chattahoochee, does it remind you of Alan Jackson? Way down yonder, Chattahoochee. It took its name, Stump Field, from the many remaining stumps that protruded above and below the water level, requiring careful handling of any power boats in the area. This caused searchers to assume that Mike may have hit a stump with his boat, fallen out and sunk into the waters 8 to 12 feet deep when his waders filled, and then drowned when he was unable to extricate himself.
That's one heck of an assumption.
Yeah. Fell off the boat.
Fell off the boat, his pants filled with water, couldn't get back out, dead.
Wow.
Eaten by alligators. Do they live in that lake waterway thing?
Well.
Oh, sorry. Okay, my bad.
Usually in my scripts, when I leave a note that isn't part of the script, it's just like my thoughts while researching. I put it in italics. Didn't do it in this one. So I was thinking when I was researching that if Mike was known to duck hunt in the lake all the time, surely he knew where to avoid the stumps. But then I thought there's a pothole near the intersection around the corner, and I always fucking hit it. It's been there since we moved in.
I hit that pothole on the way here too, actually.
It's one got filled, but there's one at the intersection near the police station. And as you turn left, there's a pothole. And I always hit it. So I'm like, well, maybe, you'd think you know where the stumps are, but who knows?
Maybe the stumps moved.
Can they?
I don't know. It's water.
It's water.
They floated.
They just move.
I don't know.
Assuming Mike had fallen overboard and drowned, then eventually his body would be expected to float to the surface, making it easier to discover him.
Bloating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a podcast I was listening to, and they were saying, like, if you, I think, stab someone in the stomach or stab, like, lots of holes in them, then they won't float up.
Huh.
Because, like, the gases inside your body that, like, brings you back up.
Yeah, well, bloating.
Yeah, well, but if you make little, like, air holes.
Oh, so if you just, like, puncture them.
Yeah, apparently.
Maybe we can test that out.
With Ziggy.
No.
Oh, yeah, sometimes. Investigators assured the Williams family that his body would surface like other drowning victims within 3 to 7 days, or perhaps slightly longer due to the cold front that had moved in after the first night's storm. But no body surfaced. Nobody and nobody.
Oh. Nobody knows.
If Mike Williams had accidentally fallen out of his boat and drowned, his body would be the only one out of 80 known deaths in the lake to never resurface and be found.
That seems unlikely.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. The head of a private search firm that supplemented official efforts near the end of the search offered a possible explanation. With the wildlife around, quote by someone.
The wildlife expert?
The head of the private search firm.
Oh, yep.
The sentence. Quote. With the wildlife around, I would guess that alligators have dismembered and have stored the remains in a location that we would not be able to find. Everyone knows the lake is full of alligators.
So it is full of alligators. So I was right.
Apparently it is full of alligators. It is Florida as well.
Yeah, I actually think I just remember that quote from hearing about this as well.
Just alligators.
So the alligator's stuck in my brain.
Wow.
So they dismembered it.
Yeah.
So the alligators just like have a leg here, an arm there, and just like hide them places.
That's what the going theory was at the moment.
Oh yeah.
It was suggested that perhaps Mike's body had become entangled in the beds of the dense hydrilla beneath the lake's surface, and then found by the alligators later, with turtles and catfish finishing what they had left behind. So just buffet
just
for the
like
lake.
Everyone just eating a dead man.
Dinner time, guys.
Tasty.
Efforts continued until the search was called off in early February. So it was like December. Yeah, 2 months.
Wow.
It was the start of December. It's like couple of months.
Jesus.
The search might have persisted if people indicated they had an interest in finding Mike, such as his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Denise Williams, who had avoided media attention during the search for her husband, accepted that her husband had died. She arranged for a memorial service for Mike to be held the day after the search ended.
Yeah.
In June, an angler in the Stumpfield area discovered a pair of waders floating in the lake, and divers called to search the area.
Like months after they just find some pants. Yeah, okay.
They recovered from the lake bottom a lightweight hunting jacket and a flashlight. In the pocket of the jacket, they found a hunting license that belonged to Mike Williams. Just 2 months later after...
Just months later, we've just found some clothes.
Yep, after the search has been called off.
So no one found it in the 2 months that like police divers and shit were searching and just all of a sudden, conveniently, found his clothes. No body, clothes.
No body, just clothes. The strange thing about these items were that the waders had no teeth marks or any other damage.
No alligators then.
No, or catfish or turtles or...
And he was
fish.
not dismembered.
No. Well, yeah, they'd be ripped apart.
Well, legs attached.
Yeah.
Because the pants are together still.
And the jacket and flashlight showed the expected signs that they have. What?
I don't know. You're telling
The
the story.
The jacket and flashlight didn't show the expected signs that they had been in the water for the same amount of time that Mike had been missing. There was also no DNA
Planted.
evidence found to link the clothing to him.
Planted.
I don't know where I put it. I remember writing it, so it's probably in here somewhere.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Something about the flashlight that I went into a deep dive of looking up flashlights. No DNA. Even with these weird circumstances, a Leon County judge granted Denise Williams' petition to have Mike declared legally dead on the basis of those recovered items and an assumption that alligators and other water life had consumed the body in its entirety.
Denise is suspicious. Denise is suspicious.
And are like alligators and shit like pigs, or they'll just eat every part of the body?
I don't know. I haven't asked one before. I actually don't know much about alligators.
If you know about alligators, please
let us know.
email us.
Let us know.
If they eat everything. They probably, I don't know. The court decision allowed Denise to immediately proceed with her claims on her husband's life insurance policy.
$1 million.
From which she received $1.5 million.
Oh, because it was like an accidental death. They get like a little extra money.
Wow.
This is why I don't trust insurance policies.
This is why we don't trust women.
True. It's true. Bitches be crazy.
But yes. 5 years after Mike went missing, Denise decided it was time to move on, and she remarried. She married Brian Winchester.
Of course she did. Best bud who took out the insurance policy.
Yep. The couple lived in the same house that Denise and Mike had lived in.
He just moved on in on his gal and his house.
I don't think I could, like, if me and Jay split up or Jay died, you couldn't live in the same house as like you had your whole life with this other person.
That would be a reasonable
if you were normal.
person.
Yeah, if you were not
I
suspicious.
don't think a reasonable person could just carry on with a different lover and just sleep in the same bedroom.
Oh, same bed?
Probably.
Oh, no. So Mike's mother, Cheryl, did not believe her son drowned in the lake. Cheryl continued tirelessly to bring about a further investigation, but these were unsuccessful. She took matters into her own hands and uncovered different leads, tracked them down, and even cross-checked their stories. She conducted her own investigation into her son's disappearance.
Oh, she's getting it done.
She's so cute.
That's
looking.
a mama bear.
She's like, nah, not letting this happen. Cheryl stated that she received threats to discourage her.
Harsh.
For the next several years, she investigated on her own when not operating the daycare at her home. She ran advertisements in local newspapers and put up billboards asking for any information on her son's death.
Honey.
All the subsequent investigations of the case that followed have resulted from her efforts.
Oh,
I need to show you a photo of her.
I want to see her.
She's freaking adorable.
Oh, honey, look at her out there with her fucking signs.
Look at her at the trial.
Oh, the little pigtails.
She did it.
We stand with Cheryl.
Cheryl said to the Tallahassee Democrat in 2007, quote, "I get criticized a lot for not admitting that Mike's dead. All I know is I can't stop looking for him until I find him." She was like, "No, this isn't right."
I mean, he might be dead, but he definitely didn't just drown in that
float
old lake
and get eaten.
Like, good on ya.
And they said he would be the first out of 80 people to have not like resurfaced in some way.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, other
suspicious.
than his suspicious clothing that definitely didn't
have teeth
spend
marks, anything.
2 months in the water.
It's ridiculous. And you'd get like
the degradation of the clothes would have been there. Like, they would have looked trashed.
yeah, and they would have started like, well, I guess only 2 months. I don't know. I'll put a
but
shirt in the sink for 2 months.
In solid water.
A dirt like
and dirty
a Florida
water.
lake.
And there would have been like animals.
Yeah, they would have. Like,
Yeah.
what was that? That was a squirrel, apparently.
Squirrel in the lake.
Squirrel in the lake. Just, he needed a jacket.
Squirrel's looking at my clothes.
Do they have squirrels in Florida? I'm sure they would.
I don't know. I have been, but I don't know.
Have you been to Florida?
Yeah.
Is it
Well, I went to
Disneyland?
Disney World
Yeah.
in Florida.
I've been
We
to Florida.
drove from Atlanta, Georgia.
How far's that?
It was like 6 hours or something
Oh,
in the car with my cousins. It was great fun.
fun times.
Yeah.
Great classic hits. In 2004, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the FDLE, agreed to reopen the case. The FDLE does not normally have jurisdiction in missing persons cases and cannot get involved in investigations purely on the basis of a citizen's request, although it can offer assistance to local agencies as it did in this case. Many officers agreed with Cheryl that the circumstances surrounding Mike's disappearance and apparent drowning were unusual. Some of the main unusual... Yeah, it's fucking... If you look at all the things, you're like,
Not adding up.
Some of the main unusual points made were the boat launch where his Bronco was found, which he would have presumably have used to put his boat in the lake, was on an undeveloped patch of mud, yet nearby were finished concrete launches where he was known to have used in the past. The storm the night after he was reported missing had westerly winds that should have blown the abandoned boat across the lake to the Georgia side. But it was found on the other side? Oh, when the boat was recovered... No, that doesn't tell me. When the boat was recovered, its engine was off, yet the gas tank was full. According to a representative of the manufacturer, if the engine had been running when Mike allegedly fell out of the boat, as investigators had theorized, it should have stayed on with the boat running in circles until the fuel was exhausted.
So his boat wasn't even on.
Yeah, and it's sort of full tank of...
So it didn't run out of fuel.
Yeah, it was...
So that boat was never turned on.
Well, you'll see.
Okay. Tell me more.
Investigators also learned that Mike Williams didn't usually hunt alone. But apparently on this day, the day that he falls out of the boat.
And didn't they say they were supposed to go somewhere to celebrate their anniversary?
Yeah, they planned to go to dinner that night.
So he's just like, oh, it's our anniversary. I'm just going to go.
Fucking hit.
I'm just going to go hang out on a boat by myself in the middle of the lake.
Well, he left in the morning. So the wife was assuming he'd go in the morning and be back by lunch. And then like they'd go out for dinner. But it got to like lunchtime and she was like, oh, it's a bit suspicious that he's not home. Gonna start calling people, acting worried. Doubts that Mike had fallen overboard, drowned, and was eaten by alligators became much more serious when investigators learned that alligators do not generally feed during the winter months due to the colder temperatures. During the search period, daytime temperatures averaged at around 13 degrees Celsius, with overnight lows being freezing. Sometimes nights got as cold as -7 degrees Celsius.
Whew. Yeah, I'm not eating in that either.
Yeah, well... Maybe some soup.
Well, alligators don't get soup.
Well, no.
I mean,
I was going to say they don't go la-di-da-di-da either, but that's frogs, not alligators.
Yeah, no. They go schnee, schnor, schnappy.
That's an alligator. Matt Aresco, a local herpetologist authorities had consulted, said, it is highly unlikely an alligator would have been active. All they are doing is maintaining their body temperature. 58 degrees is too cold for an alligator to be interested in food at all. If it was 58 degrees, that was 14 kilometers Celsius.
Degrees?
Yep, that's the one. Investigators' suspicions were further raised by the waders that were discovered. The waders were undamaged, didn't have any tooth marks, and lacked any residue that would be expected to accumulate on an object submerged in the lake for 6 months. 6 months later. The water from the waders was also filtered, and they discovered that there was no trace of human remains. Oh, this is my flashlight research.
Oh, yeah.
The hunting jacket and flashlight were also in much better condition than expected, with the flashlight even working and being able to turn on after apparently being submerged in a lake for 6 months.
Yeah, nah, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Well, I googled, would a flashlight still work after being submerged in water? And there's different levels of waterproofing. So a torch with an IP rating of IPX4 is protected against splashing from all directions but is not waterproof. A flashlight with an IP rating of IPX7 can withstand immersion for 30 minutes in water up to 1 meter deep without losing functionality. A tactical flashlight with a rating of IPX8, the torch can withstand being submerged in up to 2 meters of water for 30 minutes.
So 30 minutes is the limit.
It seems to be like 30 minutes to maybe like an hour, but not
So not
6
several months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Apart from the condition of these items, people that knew Mike questioned why he would have been wearing the waders when he supposedly fell out of his boat. His friends who had hunted with him frequently, including just 1 week before he disappeared, said that Mike took safety very seriously. He would even keep his guns at work to ensure they were away from his daughter. Went out
Smart.
America.
Responsible gun ownership there.
Yeah. When out on the water, Mike never put his waders on until he had reached the point where he planned to get out and start hunting, following this common safety procedure in order to avoid the type of accident from which he was believed to have died from.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know what I'm
Guaranteed that was a conversation he had at the dinner table. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you're worried that I'm going to fall out of the boat and drown, so I never put my pants on.
Yeah, because
So,
waders are like,
they go up your whole body
yeah.
with like straps over your
I saw
shoulders.
them the other day somewhere. What is that, Kmart or something, Adam?
Really?
Maybe it wasn't Kmart. An op shop? I don't know. I saw them in a shop recently
You didn't buy some?
for all my duck hunting.
Yeah.
I could just go down the street and shoot some fucking ducks. They're always just blocking my fucking road. Assholes. By the time investigators began to realize that they should have treated Mike's disappearance as suspicious,
No.
it was too late.
You don't say.
Maybe just like
A while.
overreact. Like-
always overreact.
Yeah. Like it's better to be like,
Always overreact.
yeah, than just be like, oh, it's not suspicious.
I
he
would
fell
much
out.
rather you spend money on trying to find someone
Then,
than later down the track go, oh, well,
oh, they did get murdered.
oh, actually probably should have looked
Shit.
into that a little more. My bad. Whoops.
The crime scene was not protected. Mike's Bronco and his boat had been returned to his family and friends. The footsteps of the many volunteers and searchers all over the lakeshore had made it impossible to collect any evidence from the area, and the items later recovered from the lake had not been retained.
Mm.
Isn't that like evidence goes into like the sandwich bag?
Well, you would believe
You'd
so.
hope so.
You would hope that there's also like they follow the chain of custody as well.
Yeah.
Like, everyone signs it who has it and it gets stored somewhere in a box with a label on it.
Not in this case.
Not in many cases.
Well, yeah. We will
we will discover that.
Without any of the evidence on Mike's body, it was impossible for police to make a case. The FDLE closed its case, convinced that the alligator theory was wrong, but without any leads or evidence that could allow it to what?
I don't know.
Convinced that the alligator theory was wrong, but without any leads or evidence that could allow it to further investigate.
The FDLE.
Yeah,
Allow it, the FDLE, to
Yep.
I understand what you're saying. I gotcha.
I hope you guys do. It's not these people like,
She fucking serious.
by
Can tell she did VCAL.
Anna graduated. Year 12, thank you.
Look at you.
I know. With my set 4 in baking.
Where's my cake?
You don't need maths for that. You just need to know how to times a recipe by 2. That's what your calculator's for. Remember like primary school, like, you don't have a calculator in your pocket? No, I do.
I definitely do.
I have calculators everywhere.
Yep. Just not in my head.
Yeah, just that one doesn't work. By 2006, its cold case investigators were no longer returning Cheryl Williams' phone calls.
Rude.
Poor Cheryl. She went through it. She's been through a lot.
Honey.
In October 2007, a possible new lead emerged when when Mike's older brother Nick
There you go.
found a photograph and the serial number of a .22 caliber Ruger pistol that had once belonged to their father. Mike had inherited the gun after his father's death, and after Mike was declared legally dead, it was the only one of his firearms that Denise Williams had not returned to her former in-laws.
Denise is suspicious.
After this information was brought to the Jackson County Sheriff, agents Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms went to interview Denise and Brian Winchester, ex-wife and best friend of Mike, who got married after his death, living in his house.
Yeah.
Several days later, their attorney delivered the gun to the FDLE. It was sent to a state forensic laboratory.
Laboratory.
That's the one. You'll learn that there's a few words I cannot say. For DNA testing. Preliminary
Good one.
That one took me fucking years to learn. And I have to
There
say
you
it
go.
really slow. And I can't say lure.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
L-U-R-E.
Lure?
Lure. Lure? Lure.
Like
Lure.
lure him here?
Yeah.
Lure.
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 You wait till there's a script with the word lure.
You write the scripts. Just change the word.
But sometimes that word is needed. Like they lured him into the... Anywho.
They coaxed him in.
Coke, that's a good one.
There you go. Replacement.
I'm pretty sure one of them does have the word lure in it. I'm going to leave it in.
Okay, why not? VCAL. Can you tell I did VCE?
I did BCAL at a private Catholic school.
I did VCE at a private Catholic,
Oh, fuck.
all girls private Catholic school.
Oh.
Lord help me.
Yeah, Jesus. Fuck it.
Smite me.
Oh my God. Do you know who was the special guest speaker at my year 12 graduation?
No, I don't.
George Powell. My dad got up and left.
That is bad.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
It was fucked. Like my dad got up and left because he was the Bishop of Ballarat when my dad was a kid in St. Joseph's Ballarat orphanage.
Your poor dad.
Apparently nothing happened to them, is what they told, but they saw things that happened.
They absolutely would have seen many things.
Yes, and I went there with
fucking George Powell.
May he not rest in peace.
May he rest in hell, George Powell.
We went to the St. Joseph's orphanage in Ballarat when I was like getting my learner's hours up, so we drove up to Ballarat, and it's got such a fucking eerie, gross feeling.
Because George Powell was there.
Yeah, and like all the shit, like not even George Powell, like the stories that Dad had told me from like the nuns and shit that used to run
church.
Yeah, just the Catholic Church.
Religion, I have many opinions on.
Yes.
I digress.
We'll leave that for her.
That's a whole other podcast in itself.
Disorganized cults. Yeah, and there's this big like lake right next to it, and I was sitting there, and I was like, I wonder what happened if they drained this lake. I wonder what they'd find. Anywho, so they took it, they DNA the gun.
Yep.
Was sent for DNA testing. The results had not been reported. The same year, on the 7-year anniversary of Mike's disappearance, the Winchesters made one of their few public statements on the case, which they emailed to the Democrat? Tallahassee Democrat? I don't know. The Democrat. For 7 years, we have prayed and hoped to find out with certainty what happened to Mike. Nobody wants Mike found more than we do.
I don't believe that.
I doubt it. In 2008, the Florida Department of Financial Services Division of the Insurance Fraud, in conjunction with the FDLE, began investigating the case. Normally, under Florida law, the statute of limitations on that crime is 5 years, meaning it would have expired in 2005. But it can be extended by 3 years under certain circumstances.
Such as murder?
Yeah. Diffs. What the fuck is diffs? Diffs is the division of insurance fraud.
Yep.
One misspelling, we would have had a different word. Diff's lead attorney, Mike Sheelan, said, the circumstances surrounding this case raise many serious and troubling questions. A FFWCC officer who had been heavily involved in the original case added that at the time that if he or any other person investigating had known that there was a large life insurance policy on Mike Williams and who the beneficiary was, that search might have been handled differently.
I feel like that is something that you should find out.
Yeah, my note was, isn't that like investigating 101?
Yeah, like, is someone going to financially gain from this dead dude?
Yeah. And like he has... fuck it.
Oh, God. Police officers.
Police in the early 2000s.
Police in general.
Police, yeah, just police. It was noted that Denise Williams' court petition to have her husband declared legally dead mentioned only the Kansas City life insurance company policy Brian Winchester had sold him, omitting policies through other companies that Mike had obtained through other sources. Brian Jones, an expert in insurance law at Florida State University, told the Democrat that any fraud case would have to rest on more than just those facts already known to have aroused investigative interest. He said, the mere fact that they couldn't locate the body isn't necessarily something the insurance industry would care about.
Wow. I just zoned out. Because
Nobody,
that's fucked.
don't worry. It's fine. Here's your insurance money. We don't need to see the body.
Here's your money and don't really care.
I guess, like, if you had a death certificate, do they give a fuck if there's a body?
No, but like, perhaps you should investigate.
Is this crime suspicious?
Yeah. Like, because all of the cases I've heard of in the past, if there's like an ongoing investigation where they believe that it could be suspicious, you don't get no money.
But they didn't think that till years later.
True. Well, again, that's on the police.
Yeah. But if Michael Williams was to be proven dead and the beneficiary were to have shown to have been involved, or if he was still alive, as his mother and many residents of Jackson County believed possible, then an insurance company would strongly consider pursuing a case. However, by the 8th anniversary of Mike's disappearance, the DIF had closed the case.
Everyone's just closing cases.
Everyone's just like, I can't be fucked. That's too much work.
Too hard basket.
Yep. Lead attorney Mark Schleen said, our job was extremely difficult and we were simply unable to develop enough evidence to proceed with the investigation. We have suspicions, but what we need is evidence. He added that if new information were received, the investigation could be reopened.
Yep, they always say that.
Carrie Cox.
Yeah, she does.
Carrie Cox contacted investigators. That's a fucking...
Say that 10 times fast.
I couldn't get through laboratory. With information that same year. Carrie was a certified forensic psychologist profiler from Kentucky and also a self-described psychic.
Yes. Give me the psychic.
I have a psychic appointment in a couple of weeks.
I have a psychic. Like, she's my psychic.
You have a psychic?
I do. She's just mine. I mean, she's also many other people's, but she's my psychic.
She had been reviewing the case and had identified a possible location of Mike Williams' body. There's in one case, this psychic, and she's like, the guy went missing at a lake, like this guy, different person though, and she's like, I can see trees and water.
No way.
He's possibly dead or alive. And I was like, what the fuck? You're wasting everyone's time.
Dead or alive. Those are the two possibilities.
Bon Jovi. That was wanted, dead or alive.
Yeah.
She gave investigators the coordinates of a location in Wakulla County near another boat launch. Cadaver dogs were brought to the area and sniffed it out, but found nothing.
Yep.
Carrie nevertheless concluded that we are moving in the right direction. I think something is there.
There probably is many things.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're Mike, couldn't tell you.
The FDLE officers said in 2011 that Carrie Cox had not found anything requiring further investigation.
No shit.
Yeah. Please. Psychics. Stick to talking to dead people. Well, if they're dead, could they talk to a psychic?
Well, possibly.
Well.
I mean, that is literally the whole premise of the show Ghost.
Ghost Whisperer?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, I was like, Ghost is a movie with Patrick Swayze.
No, Ghost Whisperer. That TV show where she talks to the dead people to help solve or like close their...
Yeah, they close and go over to the other side.
Close the chapter on their... Yeah.
I was like, Ghost, he just is a pottery
person. No, Ghost Whisperer.
Ghost Whisperer.
Yep. Fucking love that show.
What? But that's a whole other rabbit hole. Despite the failure of a third investigation to discern the fate of her son, Cheryl Williams persisted. Her efforts led to the Investigation Discovery cable channel doing a segment on Mike Williams' disappearance and later investigations late in 2011. Starting on New Year's Day in 2012, Cheryl began writing one letter a day to Governor Rick Scott, asking him to either have another agency besides the FDLE investigate or appoint a special prosecutor to do so.
Yes, Cheryl. Squeaky wheel.
After she had written over 200 letters without even an
Yes.
acknowledgement that they had been received, she began inquiring personally as to why. It turned out that the governor's office had forwarded them unopened to the FDLE's headquarters, where they were placed in a case file.
Wow.
Mm.
Mm.
When Cheryl found this out, she said, "They could have not hurt me more if they had punched me in the face."
Mm.
That would
I just want to
suck.
hug her.
But like, imagine you're writing a letter to the governor going, "The FDLE is fucking this up. You need to fix this," and they're going,
Oh,
"We're
that's for
sending
the
these to the FDLE." Like, oh,
You didn't even read it.
unopened,
You didn't even read it.
and then they didn't even read it. They just put it into a fucking box. Like, at least open them. Like, you know what she's gonna say. Please find my son. But like, open them. She might. What if Cheryl didn't do anything? But what if she was writing like, "I murdered my son.
Yeah.
I murdered my son," and just kept sending them?
Mm. She definitely didn't, though.
She definitely did not. I'll tell you about Brian.
Tell me about Brian.
In 2012, Denise and Brian. Oh, this is not about Brian.
Oh.
It's about Denise and Brian. Denise and Brian Winchester separated, reportedly due to his sex addiction. Denise filed for divorce in 2015. Brian opposed it initially and had to be ordered to comply. As part of that order, he was to provide an appraisal of the couple's house due in early 2016. On the 5th of August, Denise left her home to drive to her job at the Florida State University. On her drive, she spoke to her sister on the phone. She then saw what I think would be the scariest fucking thing to see. She saw someone climb over her back seat.
Oh, shit.
Like from boot to back seat.
Oh, shit.
I would
die.
Oh, that'd be like just in your rear view and you're
Roll
like,
that car.
"Oh my God, someone's in my car."
Roll it.
Yeah, crashed into a tree.
Oh, fuck. Open that door and fucking tuck and roll.
It turned out to be Brian.
What the fuck?
He took her phone away and began yelling directions at her. Denise would not comply until Brian pulled out a gun. Denise claimed that Brian had told her that this was necessary since she was not answering his calls or replying to his text messages. She doesn't want to fucking see you. You're getting divorced. You're
Brian,
getting separated.
Brian is cuckoo.
Brian, Instead of going where he wanted her to, she pulled into a CVS drugstore parking lot close to the door. Brian told her that he was planning to kill himself with the gun and that he did not want the divorce and felt he had nothing to live for if it went through. He assured her that he did not want to kill her. She was able to calm him down and took him back to where he had parked his own truck at a nearby park. Before he got into his own car, he had to grab some things out of Denise's car, including a tan sheet, different coloured plastic sheet, spray bottles of bleach, and various tools.
But he didn't want to kill her.
Didn't want to kill her, but had a full fucking Dexter kit.
Yeah.
After she left, Brian pulled up to her and apologized for his actions. Despite her promise to him not to tell the police about the incident, she drove straight to the police shop. Shop.
Station.
The police shop where you can buy a police officer.
I will take that one. I don't think you can buy people anymore.
No, it's frowned upon. Brian was arrested and charged with the kidnapping, domestic assault, and armed burglary, with 2 of the charges being felonies. Denise requested protection orders, saying that she feared for her and her daughter's life. After a hearing the next week, at which she said she could neither eat nor sleep since the incident, the court decided to hold Brian without bond.
As they should.
Well, yeah. According to a friend of Brian's, later interviewed by police, he had been increasingly concerned that as a result of the divorce, Denise would tell the police what she knew about this guy who died 10 or 12 or 15 years ago. Cheryl Williams expressed hope that this development could lead to the resolution of her son's disappearance. She told the New York Daily News, "Brian's not going to let Denise run around alone with all that money. I'm praying he doesn't commit suicide. I'm praying he'll tell us what actually happened." Brian was sentenced to 20 years in prison for the kidnapping, with credit for 502 days time served to be followed by 15 years probation. At a news conference in October 2007, Mark Perez, the FDLE special agent in charge, announced to the assembled reporters that Mike Williams' body had been found and had been determined he was the victim of a homicide.
Oh, so they found the body.
Mm-hmm. However, they declined to release any details of how he had been killed, who might be a suspect or person of interest, or where the body had been found, saying that they were withholding that information since only the perpetrators would be expected to know it.
But how did they find it then?
Well, they later revealed that they had found Mike Williams' remains at the end of Dead End Gardner Road in northern Leon County, 8 kilometers from where he grew up. They were confirmed as his following a match to his mum's DNA.
That doesn't sound like in the lake.
No.
That doesn't sound like
Nope.
drowned and get ate by crocodile? No, alligators.
Well, is there a difference?
Yes.
Oh. I thought
Crocodiles and
Americans just called crocodiles alligators.
No, alligators are a different animal.
Oh.
They're actually different.
They look the same.
One of them has like a pointy snout and one of them has like a not so pointy snout. There's a difference.
Oh.
Similar, but different.
I don't.
Also, I think alligators are salt water, maybe? No, I think I'm wrong with
I
that.
don't know. We'll consult Robert Irwin.
I'll ask him. Hey, Robert.
Robbo.
Bindi?
I don't like Bindi Irwin.
No?
No.
Oh,
She's just.
I don't mind her.
She was a bit cringy when she was on everything.
She was a child, though.
Yeah, but even now. On October
I just
8th.
miss Steve Irwin.
I know.
I miss Steve Irwin.
He was like,
That was my childhood.
yeah.
I cried.
It's
when
been
he died.
fucking years.
I know, it's awful.
But I do like Robert though.
He's
Noel
cute.
Horan went to the Australia Zoo and met Bindi Irwin.
I want to go to the Australia Zoo.
I want to go on Noel Horan.
I don't share that sentiment.
Bindi?
Nah, she doesn't do it for me.
And also, isn't a Bindi like a the little...
The little things you step on in the
Yeah.
grass, yeah.
Is that why they called it Bindi?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think they've been called Bindies for far longer than she's been alive.
No, I mean, was she named after them?
Oh! I don't think they would have named her after the little fucking round thing you step on in the grass.
Maybe.
Ouch.
So, Mike, on October 18th, the team of search dogs and officers finally found Mike's remains in a pile of dirt stacked on plywood sheets. An FDLE source told the told the Tallahassee Democrat that 98% of his bones were recovered, all very well preserved, as was some of the clothing he'd been wearing, such as winter gloves and booties.
Booties.
So if we go back a little bit to when Brian was arrested and charged for kidnapping of Denise, he was also asked a number of questions in relation to Mike's disappearance.
Yep.
He confessed that the day Mike was reported missing on the 16th of December, he was with him on the lake and knew exactly what happened.
So he didn't go duck hunting alone.
Didn't go duck hunting alone.
The
Brian...
plot thickens.
It fucking does. Brian had shot Mike.
No way.
Brian-
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Brian confessed to pulling the trigger, but claims the killing was all Denise's idea. Brian said that he and Denise had been having an affair long before Mike's death.
No way.
In discussions with authorities, he said Denise had 2 million reasons for this to happen, suggesting that the pair plotted the crime together with plans to make it look like a boating accident. On May 8th, 2018, Denise Williams was arrested at Florida State University as she left work to celebrate her daughter's 19th birthday, minutes after a grand jury had indicted her on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and accessory after the fact. 2 FDLE officers went to Cheryl Williams' house immediately following the indictment to inform her. A 3-page indictment was released 2 days later. It revealed that the prosecutors believe Denise allegedly began conspiring with Brian in March 2000, 9 months before her husband disappeared. Denise's lawyer, Ethan Way, said that his client was innocent of all charges against her. He said she had absolutely nothing to do with Mike Williams' disappearance and had absolutely nothing to do with any of the crimes that Brian Winchester committed. So I don't fucking do it. It was
Absolutely nothing.
Audio of Brian Winchester's interview with the FDLE was played in court. Brian testified at length about how he and Denise had never really ended their high school relationship even after they both married others. Just don't marry the other.
Just don't Marry somebody else.
Don't murder someone for...
Like, if you want to be with your high school boyfriend, just be with your high school boyfriend.
Just leave
Leave
everyone
Mike
alive.
out of it. Leave Mike out of it. Like, just divorce Mike.
Yeah, well.
Again, sorry. I will shut up.
That's how I'm like, you know when you watch something, you're like, did they do it? Did they do this? I'm like,
Just listen.
That's what I do. Brian's first wife, Kathy Thomas, told the jury that she had suspected the two of having an affair in the late 1990s when they would frequently go on double dates with Mike and Denise. Brian said in his confession, a tape of which was played for the jury, that he had an affair... I just licked the microphone.
Ew.
It's fluffy. That the affair had started at a Sister Hazel concert in 1997. He testified that when Kathy and Mike were outside the venue parking the car, he was inside the venue with Denise and they kissed. Now,
scandalous.
That was the beginning of an affair that continued for a number of years. They went on vacation a number of times together, met for lunch when they were at work, and went to each other's homes when there was nobody else home.
Oh, just leave them. Just leave your partners. If you want to be
have
together,
the affair, just
go
don't murder
off.
anyone.
No, don't have the affair.
Well, yeah. Better than murder, though.
Yeah, but like it's easy. I mean, not easy, but like just get a divorce.
Yeah, but then she wouldn't have $1.5 million.
Yeah, but you'd get to bone Brian.
Yeah, well, and then leave him because he's got a sex addiction and tried to murder you.
Yeah.
This is just...
She made some good choices.
Yeah, she should be a life coach.
Yeah.
From
prison.
In prison. After discreetly rekindling their relationship, the two began to consider killing Mike so that they could marry, as Denise's family frowned on divorce for religious reasons. I don't understand that.
Religion. Many thoughts about religion.
Isn't like, thou shalt not kill?
Thou shalt not a lot of things.
Thou shalt... Don't be a shit person.
You just get to pick and choose which parts of
the Bible
religion.
says this.
You just pick and choose which parts you listen to, and it's a free-for-all.
Yep, religion.
Yep.
Denise suggested staging a boating accident on the Gulf of Mexico where they could throw both Mike and Kathy overboard, but Brian didn't want to kill his children's mother, but he was fine with killing his best friend.
And the father of his soon-to-be stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Double standards.
People. After rejecting plans for a murder at Mike's office meant to look like a robbery, Brian brought up the idea of an apparent hunting accident after he saved Mike from quicksand when the two were hunting in Arkansas. Brian said that he could...
Arkansas.
Is it? That one?
Yep, that's Arkansas.
Oh. Well, they were hunting there.
Arkansas in America is spelt exactly the same as Arkansas, but pronounced Arkansas.
That's stupid.
Yep, I agree, but that's how it is.
No. Get your shit together. Brian said that he had convinced Mike to come hunting with him at Lake Seminole. Once out on the water, Brian had gotten Mike to put the waders on and then pushed him out of the boat. Brian assumed Mike would be unable to resurface and thus would drown.
Oh, yeah.
Mike instead managed to grab hold of a tree stump and had stripped off his heavy waders and hunting jacket to try and save himself from being dragged into the water.
Poor Mike.
Mike yelled out for Brian to help him. Brian made his way over to the tree stump, took out his gun and shot Mike in the face.
Fuck me.
Yeah. He shot him from 3 feet away with a 12-gauge shotgun. And then my note is 3 feeters.
3 feeters.
3 feet is less than a meter. So like that far away, he shot him in the face.
Shit.
That's far. That's like less than the fucking... I'll just stop moving.
That would
like that's
do
close.
So much damage.
Yeah.
With a shotgun?
Yeah.
Fuck.
To the face.
Ouch.
Now that Mike's death could not be passed off as a boating accident, Brian removed Mike's body from the lake and put his body in the car and drove back with Mike's body beneath a tarp, but back home with his body underneath a tarp. Brian then went to a family Christmas party where he learned that a search for Mike was underway. Imagine going there like, oh, your best friend is missing Yeah. Oh no, his body's in your fucking car.
So for Denise to stay with this man after finding out what he was fucking capable of.
Yeah, but it was for her.
Yeah,
He'd kill for her.
Like, they were supposed, I mean, it's not any better, but like they were supposed to just accidentally watch him die. Like watch him accidentally drown, right?
Watch your best friend.
But then he's just like, oh, that plan's not going to action. Shot in the face. Like,
Yeah, just shoot him.
Like dead. And she's just like, oh, honey, let's move
My
in together.
hero.
Let's get married. Kiss, kiss, love, love.
Oh, it's just fucked up.
We'll just take the money and live together happily ever after,
Yeah.
knowing that I've just shot someone you supposedly love, the father of your daughter, in the face.
And he is meant to be his best friend.
People are fucked.
It's fucking wild. So yeah, he went to the party with the body. Brian drove to a hunting spot where he knew well at the edge of Carr Lake with that's that dyslexia kicking in, with Mike's body still under the tarp, and stopped at a Walmart on the way.
That's very Walmart though.
He purchased a shovel and weights.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
It's always
the
Walmart.
investigators really didn't do a good job on
Yeah.
this.
Oh, your best friend's missing. No one can account for where you are because you were on the fucking lake with him. And you
just bought a shovel and weights.
Yeah. People. When he got to Carr Lake, he found a mud hole where he hid Mike's body. He used the weights to hold down Mike's body. He and Denise apparently took it slow after Mike's disappearance. They let the insurance money earn further interest to allay any suspicion. The kidnapping that had led to his present imprisonment, he explained, was his reaction to fear that Denise would reveal the truth about what had happened to her first husband now that she and Brian were divorcing. Prosecutors also played a taped phone call conversation which Kathy Thomas, who was working with the police at the time, had told Denise she knew the truth about the crime. Each time she brought up Mike and the supposed accident, Denise attempted to change the subject. But at one point, Denise asked, "What do you know?" Denise's attorney argued in response that there was no physical evidence linking Denise to the crime, that it had been entirely Brian's idea to murder Mike Williams. He expressed in disbelief that Brian Winchester was not on trial despite having admitted to committing the crime himself. Brian had accepted a plea agreement in exchange for immunity in relation to Mike's murder on the basis that he would testify at Denise's trial. How the fuck do you get immunity when you're the one that killed them?
Because he was giving them all the info.
Yeah.
On Denise, I would say.
Well, yeah. After 4 days of testimony, the jury took 8 hours to convict Denise of all of the charges. In February 2019, Denise was sentenced to life in prison. The only person to address the court besides the lawyers was Cheryl Williams.
Yes, Cheryl.
She's so fucking cute. Who said that justice had finally been served and that Denise had taken not only her son but also her granddaughter from her. 5 months later, Mike and Denise's daughter was awarded all assets of her late father's estate and insurance monies due to Denise after her mother signed them over to her to avoid prosecution on 3 counts of insurance fraud.
Yeah.
As part of the deal, the daughter may not use any of the money on her mother's legal fees. If she did, she would owe the state a $150,000 penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you want to help your mum after that?
Well, I wouldn't.
Nah.
I personally wouldn't.
For like
sorry, mum.
Killing your dad. Yeah.
Sorry, mum.
Well, my dad's dead, so I don't have that problem.
Well,
maybe mum did it. No. Alcohol did it.
Not a laughing matter.
But it is. In January 2020, Denise Williams, or Winchester technically, appealed her conviction and life sentence. Her attorney argued before the Florida First District Court of Appeals that there was no evidence that she was involved in the commission of the murder. Please.
Mm-hmm.
In November 2020, the murder conviction was overturned, but the conspiracy to commit murder convictions was upheld, including the 30-year sentence that accompanied
it.
Yep. My brain glitched. I was like, Cheryl Williams was able to read her victim impact statement to the court during this hearing.
Yes.
Mike suffered horribly. For the rest of my life, when I try to go to sleep, I see my son clinging to a stump in the freezing water. Please don't show her any mercy. She didn't show my son any mercy. She took him away from his daughter, family, and friends. Denise Williams will not face additional insurance fraud charges or pay restitution to the state. Prosecutors dropped the charges and agreed to not seek financial penalties as part of a settlement agreement blessed by Mike Williams' mother and brother, which shifted all of Denise Williams' assets to the couple's daughter. Cheryl said Mike would have wanted her to have this. He would have wanted her to be taken care of for the rest of her life. Jesus. Under the terms of the agreement, the daughter is prohibited from using any of the money or assets she received to help pay her mother's legal fees or any other costs associated with the murder case or ongoing appeals if she violates the term of this agreement. The state could force her to turn over $150,000 in damages. The assets given to the daughter, including 4 pieces of Tallahassee real estate valued at about $877,000, including her home on the Centennial Oak Circle purchased by her parents when she was a baby.
Imagine being like 20-something and just being given 4 pieces of property.
Well, she was 19 when the mum was arrested. But yeah, she'd be like in her early 20s.
And they're just like, here, have a whole bunch of money.
Have 4 real estate investment properties. And
God, that would be nice. You wouldn't have to try and get into the home buy owner's market because you just
had 4 fucking properties.
You're just fucking in it.
Yeah. In her 20s, God, yeah, she'd be set for life. But also, like, her dad got murdered.
And her mum's in jail for murdering her dad.
It's not ideal.
No.
But yeah, that was Jerry Michael Williams.
Anya? That's a wild one.
That one's fucked because you're like, oh my God, he's missing. And then you're like, oh my God, the wife and the best friend got together.
I'm pretty sure I fell asleep listening to an episode about that case and I didn't even know that they ended up finding his body. So
yeah,
you learn something new every day.
And then the best friend then shot him, and then
wild
climbing through the car trying to kill her.
Wild.
Like, obviously he didn't care about killing people.
Sociopath.
Well, yes, that's the term.
It is a term.
It is a term. That's very Brian Winchester. It sucks because I do like the name Winchester, mainly because it's supernatural.
Yeah, well, maybe not because of Brian.
No, Brian seems like a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
Was there a Brian in Supernatural?
I don't know.
I don't think so. But yeah, that was Jerry Michael Williams.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening to our first episode.
Yeah.
Of Disorganized Detectives.
Very
You can see why we picked this name now.
It suits the ADHD.
It does. And there's the dyslexia. Dyslexia. I actually have a book that I found in an op shop and it's Dyslexia for Dummies and it's in the bookshop.
Oh my God.
That's me.
Play the music?
Hit it! Well, yeah, thank you for listening. We'll see you, catch you.
You'll talk to you again soon.
Talk to you in our second episode.
And all of the other episodes
and
that
all
we're
of the
going to do.
Future episodes. I'm just my brain's done. I need more coffee.
All right, end the pod.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.